Guys, I need to give this word to somebody, and it's do not let them play on the fact that you're a Christian. Do not let people play on you being a Christian. Don't let them play on that you're a believer, that you're a Christian. There are people that are doing wrong things to you. They're doing evil things to you. They're being unreasonable with you. And they don't expect you to react or do anything. They don't expect you to make any moves. And when you correct them, or when you make moves, or when you do things that you need to do to keep those boundaries in place, they are playing on the fact that you're a Christian. If you're a Christian, you're supposed to forgive. If you're a Christian, then how come you're setting these hard lines and setting these standards? If you're a Christian, then how is it that you are not taking my calls anymore? If you're a Christian, how come you're not taking my emails anymore? If you're a Christian, how come you're no longer coming over anyway? How come you're no longer hanging with us anymore? How come you're correcting me if you're such a Christian? Let me tell you something. There's a time when Jesus flipped tables. He flipped tables. Okay? Now, I'm not telling y'all to go flip tables, but what I'm saying is we can be angry and not sin. This is a part of anger is a natural human emotion. And so if you become angry, you have to realize you cannot sin. You don't want to be cussing people out, and you don't want to let the sun go down on your anger. Okay? But don't let people play on the fact that if they have done things and they upset you, that you should not be angry because you are a Christian. Anger is a natural emotion, just as is happiness and sadness and empathy. And being regretful, but they don't have that. Don't let them play on your emotions, my brother, my sister, whoever you may be. You're in this catch-22 where you have people around you that's misbehaving, and they just banking on you being a Christian. Being a Christian means you don't speak back. Being a Christian means that you just take everything I dish out to you. Being a Christian means that you're supposed to let me do whatever I want to do or feel like doing and saying to you. You're not supposed to say anything. Being a Christian means that you don't have to make those tough choices. Being a Christian means that you have no boundaries. Being a Christian means that you just let me do whatever I want to do. No, sir. No, ma'am. God has given us wisdom, discretion, and understanding as Christians, and knowledge. We must be able to see a situation clearly. Pray to the Lord. Find out how to deal with the matter. If you find that you're in a situation where you have given many concessions, and you have been your olive branches, you're fresh out of olive branches because you've given so many. They've been broken. They've been singed. They've been taken for granted. All these things, my brothers and sisters, that they have done to you over and over and over again. That man keeps cheating on you. Your husband keeps cheating on you over and over again. Your wife keeps cheating on you over and over again. Your business partner is doing stuff over and over again. Your family, your relatives, your loved ones are doing things over and over again. My brothers and sisters, you don't keep silent because you're a Christian when there's child abuse involved. You don't keep silent because you're a Christian and don't say anything because when there's physical and emotional abuse and sexual abuse going on. That's not what we are, guys. We are here to set the example. But one of the things that we set the example of our Father, of our God, right? Yes, that is what we're supposed to do. But if you look at the characteristics of our God, He does not toe the lines with us. I'm going to tell you something today. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions as a believer. Some things you have to cut off. Sometimes you no longer will respond to those emails. Some things you have to block. Some phone calls you no longer take because you know inside of your heart you follow the Lord. in giving them plenty of grace, plenty of time to change, plenty of forgiveness. You worked with them as best as you could, but they won't stop doing what they are doing. They continue doing the things that they are doing to you, maybe to someone around you, maybe to your loved ones, who knows, whatever it may be. But when you know that you have followed the voice of God in being forgiven, in being patient, in being kind, in being long suffering towards them, and they continue to do things where now it's messing up your mind or messing up your house or have put some things or endangered you, endangered others around you, you better be able to listen to the Lord and cut that off. And it is not unforgiveness. We must forgive, but we must use wisdom. Solomon was known for having wisdom. Proverbs cries out to the simple and the prudent, for wisdom cries out in the street to those who are simple, those who are not smart, and not smart as in book smart. You're not spiritually smart. We find a proverb in the book of Proverbs about a simple man lacking understanding that went down this road that led him to the strange woman, where she was able to talk to him and eventually convince him to lie with her. Yet he didn't realize that he was going into her like a sheep to the slaughter. Why? He was probably a nice Christian guy. Let me throw that in there. A nice Christian girl that lacked understanding, that had no discretion and wisdom. So they went down that road, came to that person that always takes advantage of them, that always done them wrong, that keeps sleeping with them, keeps sleeping around on them, that keeps putting them in danger, that keeps keeping them in drama, that continues to do things over and over again to them, no matter how many times they try to work with them. And because they have no wisdom, oh, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, I'm supposed to go here, they follow after that person and they end up falling into destruction. I used the proverb of that young man, but I add any situation on top of that. What was the problem with that young man? He lacked understanding. He was void of understanding. He was void of wisdom. He had no knowledge. He has no discretion, guys. So that's the problem with many of God's children. You're saying, I'm supposed to forgive. Yes, we must. Right? And forgiveness, you must have understanding and wisdom in that too, to know that it is a process. So you confess out of your mouth. You have to give it to God, even though it hurts. Say, Lord, help me to be able, some of you even got to be real. Lord, I can't feel this right now. Help me. I don't see how it's possible to forgive this. But God, I want you to help me. And guys, you're going to hear when you turn it over to the Lord, when you give the Lord that deformity of that hurt and pain in you, you say, Lord, help me to forgive. And you're gonna have wisdom to know it is a process, but you must listen to the Lord throughout this entire process. And I'm telling you, God's gonna do a beautiful work in the end. Trust me, I know. Right? So you must forgive, but in wisdom, you understand what that means. So when you're dealing with people who like to take advantage of you, who like to do certain things to you because you're a Christian, you need to know that you have to stand up as a Christian, and you may have to say no. You may have to say, this is it. You may have to say no longer. You may have to tell them, I don't want to hear anything else. You're not wrong for that. You may have to make tough decisions. Stop letting the devil play on your salvation. You can walk uprightly before the Lord in his principles and in his knowledge and everything, guys, and still say you're fired. You're not a sinner, but you know how to make those tough choices, because there's some people that are in your lives that's sent to continue to do certain things, to antagonize you, to upset you, to cause you to doubt your walk. They're just there to just be like them little gnats. And what happens is it's going to break you down in your faith. It puts you in physical danger, emotional danger at times, spiritual danger, which is the worst. And you break down. So guys, sometimes you have to say no. You have to say it's over. You have to say it's finished. You have to say I've had enough. You close that door and do not turn back and do not feel guilty. You're not less of a Christian. You're actually a child of God who knows how to approach each and every situation with the wisdom of God, even if, and you are aware of the fact that at times you have to shut the door. Period. Walk away from that stuff, guys. Close out that stuff. Do not allow people to play on your emotions. Being a Christian is not being unwise. Being a Christian is not being a doormat. There's a difference between long suffering and not being smart. Close that door. You are not wrong for the decisions that God has given to you. Ensure that you're praying and you're seeking God in all the decisions that you make, but do not let people play on your salvation, on your walk with God, to mean they're supposed to run circles around you. All right? Somebody needs to hear this. I pray that this will bless you. Continue to seek the Lord.